You're in the elevator going up, somebody sees your shirt and they say, "Tell me about that program." How would you describe it to somebody who had never heard of it?
That depends on what elevator I'm in, and
You're
who I'm
going up
with,
10 floors.
and who I'm with, and how much time I have. I'm Derrick Speights, and I'm the Director of Community Engagement for Edwins Leadership and Restaurant Institute. I do a number of things in my role. So my three targets are typically donors, diners, and students. And so I'm in the community and I connect community organizations and different members of the community with Edwins. I also gather people who want to be students for our upcoming classes. And I encourage anybody to come and join us at Edwins and experience dinner with us.
So how long have you been in that role?
8 years. 8 years, but it feels like 2 weeks, honestly.
Is that what you always did for Edwins?
Yeah. So I've always been the Director of Community Engagement, going into churches, schools, prisons, community centers, spreading the good news about Edwins and just engaging people.
What did you do before you came to Edwins?
Before I came to Edwins, I had been a nursing assistant. I ran an office. I always did something in a role where I was able to help people. That's just me personally. I like to help people. So anywhere I can get involved is what I've always done. But this has been the most rewarding of all of those positions because I actually get to help people in my community where I grew up.
You grew up in this neighborhood, right? Where'd you grow up?
East 93rd and Union, so about 10 minutes from here.
So tell me a little bit about what growing up in this neighborhood meant to you.
I learned a lot growing up in this neighborhood. It gave me some character that I think you can't really get anywhere else. What I love most about it is watching the transformation of this neighborhood. I didn't know when I was a child that I grew up in the hood. I didn't know until I was an adult. And then I started kind of navigating this neighborhood with the people I grew up with. And I did pretty good. But then I noticed Edwins here taking over Buckeye in that area and some other organizations taking over some places that have kind of been shut down for a while. And I got more involved into the community meetings and the kind of say-so of what goes on in a community. And so I think it gives me the insight of what this used to be and where this is going, as well as the passion to help make change. If you can make it in Cleveland, you can make it anywhere. You can make it anywhere. There's no shortage of trauma and struggle in this neighborhood, but you have to have the gumption to overcome that. You have to put in the work. And so even with our students, I go places and people think I have a big degree and I've done all this fancy stuff. I barely got my high school diploma. And so you got to put in the work, and our students have to put in the work too. I like to think that I have done a decent amount of work. I expect our students to do the work to be successful. And so we push for them to do that. And I think that I learned a lot of that growing up in Cleveland. Like, nothing's given to you. You got to earn it. This is a special team, a very special team. We are a family for sure. And they told me that when I started, and I said, no place you work is ever a family. You're just co-workers. But in reality, we are a family. I've had support from this team in my personal life and professional life. We are very hardworking. The work never stops. And so we do motivate each other to go above and beyond. It's not always smooth. We have our run-ins as we try to figure out this thing that Edwins is doing across the country. It gets hairy sometimes, but overall, we are a family and we work really well together just to serve the population that we help.
How did you find out about Edwins? How did you get involved in that?
I knew Brandon, our founder, probably 15 years ago at a restaurant we worked at where he was the general manager and I was a host, but he wanted me to be a maitre d', and I had absolutely no clue what the difference between the two were, but he taught me. And then he later came and opened Edwins, and I came over to be a part of the team.
So on a daily basis, tell me about a day in the life of Derrick. What do you do while you're here? What kind of things do you do just on a daily?
Daily, I come in, I check a lot of mail, because I probably send out 100 letters a week. So I check a lot of mail, a lot of emails from people inside and connect that way. I go to community events, whether it's another organization having an event or we're preparing for our event or reentry fair or community fair or any of that, any place where people are. As I like to say, I'll go to the opening of an envelope if it's worth it. So I'm out in the community or in the office just kind of making those connections.
What's your favorite part about what you're doing?
Watching people who may not have had this opportunity or society may have thrown away for one reason or another, get an opportunity and show that they can succeed, and see how it transforms their lives. I also love it when I'm in the grocery store and someone's grandma or cousin is telling me how great this has been for one of their loved ones. And so I think that's the most rewarding part, is helping people that don't typically get this opportunity. So there is a graduate of ours that was incarcerated, I want to say for 20 something years. And we began to communicate, honestly, just because I reached out to say happy holidays. And he said, who is this and where are you from? And I said, Edwins. And he said, tell me more about Edwins. And I did that. And we started a conversation. He completed what was necessary to enroll. He literally came to Edwins the day that he got released, which is very rare. There's usually a gap of time between release and when our next class starts, but his lined up perfectly. I watched him struggle with the adjustments of his freedom and being out of incarceration while taking on the rigorous program that is Edwins. But he knocked it out of the park. Now, we had some side conversations on some days where it was rough, but he completed it. He then went on to complete our 1-year managerial training program, did fantastic. Now he's working and providing for himself and his family, and he's happy and adjusted, and that for me is success. I worked with another gentleman who is down in Florida who is catering and started his own catering business, and I saw that through from the beginning. So it's truly the transformation of what you can do with this, with your creativity, where that takes you, and what you can do with this that I love. I love to see the end result. I'm willing to push through the tough times, which that 6 months can be tough for a lot of people. Unfortunately, we do lose some people during that 6 months, so not everybody makes it. But to have those conversations, to see the transformation, and to see the success, that I love that. The short of it is that anybody over the age of 18 that is interested in the culinary world, we are willing to work with, we're happy to work with. And so I typically start with that. And then we go into the vast range of places that we are and things that we have done that can help in the resources that we offer as the child care center or the dorms. But overall, I'm just looking for people who are interested in culinary arts. And that typically starts the conversation. Or I'll run into someone in an elevator who tells me how delicious our food is. And I think that's the best compliment, to say that we've got great food, or even better, great service, because a lot of our students have never been in this industry. So when I hear somebody tell me they came to Edwins and they had great service, I'll talk to them for a half hour. There is no elevator pitch with Derrick. We'll just start a whole conversation and hold the elevator up. If there's somebody in the community that's interested, every Friday morning at 9 a.m. I have open enrollment right here on Shaker Square. And so they're welcome to come in. We go over the program, we go over the resources, we get paperwork completed, and they start in the next class. So that's kind of the easiest process. For someone who's inside, they have to complete our tablet program, which is 38 modules of culinary arts. They contact me, I send out the paperwork, which is an application and intake form. They get that back to me with 3 professional reference letters, and then they will be required when they get released to pass a drug test before I provide transport to them. They come here, they take another drug test, we get them moved into the dorms with our dean of students and our resident advisors who make sure that they're comfortable and have all their needs that they need there. What I tell people is that I'm not offering you a mansion. This is not a palace. There's no pool in the backyard, but it's a great living space. It's a great space that you can utilize to be successful in the industry, right on our campus next to the library. And so Heather kind of takes over that part with our resident advisors and makes sure that they have the necessities. I'm not handing anybody $200 and saying go shopping when you get here, but we will make sure that you have your toiletries that you need. There's access to a washer and dryer, and you have bedding and things of that nature.
So with the process that you have, I've noticed more people that I'm interviewing that are in the classes that are not coming from prison, that are coming from the community, that were just looking for something to do, maybe wayward, and just said, man, I don't know where my life's going, I need some direction. Has that been kind of a renewed focus with Edwins, to kind of reach out to some people that aren't necessarily incarcerated too?
So my focus has always been everyone. I understand that there's a large number of people who will be interested in Edwins that have been incarcerated or had some kind of brush with the law. But for me personally, I went to culinary school, and I know how much that can cost. I know how much time that can take, and it didn't quite work out for me. And so I know that there's some people who would rather try a 6-month program where they can be successful just to see if this is the industry that they really want to be in and if this is what they want to do with their life. So I welcome this opportunity to everyone. You won't find it anyplace else, where you can get a free education in culinary arts in 6 months, get your feet wet, get great connections. So again, whether you're a student coming fresh out of high school that maybe took culinary arts in high school like I did and still have that passion, or you're somebody who is 40 years old and you need a second chance and an opportunity to get away from who you used to be, that opportunity is there for everybody. So I try to focus heavily on both. I'm really proud to say that most, if not all, of our graduates that have interacted with me have told me, and I hope that they continue to feel this way, that I'm honest. I'm very honest about what it takes to complete this program. I'm very honest about what we offer and what we can do. I'm also very serious about this because I understand that I talk to people all over the country who need this opportunity. So I find it a little disrespectful when people play with this opportunity and don't take it seriously. And so I'm the guy that will pull up on you on the street and say, what are you doing? Why are you here? Are you doing the right thing? Stay out of trouble. I don't know where I got so bold, but I'm that guy because I'm constantly pushing our students towards success. And so, yeah, I hope that they say that I'm honest and that I cared. And even if I said something that they didn't like, they know it's from a place of support. In some of my leadership classes, I've learned that I'm a cheerleader. I'm the guy that's going to cheer you on and push you in the right direction. And so I hope that they get that from me. But I hope that they also know that I'm very serious about this opportunity in this program, and I don't play with it. And I don't play with people who play with it. I learned that I can't take everybody home and give them the world. I can't. When I first started, every sad story, I wanted to take them home, move them into my house and help. And how do I do this? And that's not the reality. But I've learned to be, I guess, a little less of a pushover, and play less on my heartstrings and more on my brain and common sense, and give people the power to be adults. I treat everyone like an adult. I expect everyone to be an adult. And so give them the power to make their own decisions while guiding them. I can't do it for you, but I can give great advice. And I think I've gotten tougher skin for sure, because I used to be really, really soft. I personally would like to travel the country more and talk more about Edwins, because I've noticed that this doesn't exist, and this opportunity can be utilized all over this country, really all over the world, but all over this country. And I'd like to travel more and talk to people who really don't believe that this opportunity is afforded to someone like them, as they would say, and let people know that this is a real thing and that this is an opportunity, and get connections that way. I love my city of Cleveland, and I've been all over the city, but I like to spread our wings a little bit more and get out to other cities and other states and say, hey, there's a great program right in Cleveland, Ohio, and all you got to do is do the work. All you got to do is do the work.